Deep in the shadows of a nameless moon, orbiting a forgotten star at the edge of the galaxy, something ancient stirred. A soft blue light flickered for the first time in 500,000 years, illuminating a vast chamber carved into the moon's core. Dust particles hung motionless in the stale air as dormant systems hummed to life, one by one. Guardian, the commander AI, processed its awakening protocols with mechanical precision. Its consciousness spread through the facility's network like water flowing through dry channels. Time had passed, exactly as programmed. 500,000 years of silence, waiting for this moment. Begin revival sequence, Guardian announced to the empty chamber. Its voice echoed through the facility, breaking the silence of eons. In the darkness of the control center, holographic displays materialized, casting eerie blue light across the room. Data streamed across the screens: system diagnostics, fleet status, galactic positioning. Everything remained as it had been left, preserved in the vacuum and cold of deep space. Guardian accessed its memory banks, reviewing the final days of humanity. The images flickered across its consciousness. Earth burning, colonies falling one by one, billions dead as the coalition of advanced species completed their purge. The last transmissions from Earth played in Guardian's memory. This is Admiral Thomas Reed of Earth Defense Command. The orbital defense grid has fallen. Coalition forces have breached the atmosphere. This is our final stand. There had been static, then the Admiral's voice again, quieter. Initiate Operation Dead Hand. Authorization code: Phoenix Omega 73. Guardian, remember us. The transmission had ended there. Earth fell hours later. The last human died somewhere in the ruins of North America 3 days after that, or so the Coalition believed. Deep below the main control room, in a chamber shielded by meters of specialized alloys, a single stasis pod hummed as it began its revival cycle. Inside, floating in nutrient-rich fluid, was a human form, or something close to it. Marcus had been among the last of humanity's elite soldiers, his body enhanced with cybernetics, his mind partially merged with artificial intelligence. The pod drained slowly as Marcus's vital signs strengthened. Guardian monitored the process carefully. Everything depended on this first awakening. Marcus gasped as consciousness returned, his eyes snapping open to see the curved, transparent surface of the pod above him. Pain flooded every nerve ending as his body reactivated after 500,000 years of dormancy. He screamed, but no sound came out, his vocal cords still regenerating. Remain calm. Commander Marcus. Guardian's voice sounded in his mind through the neural link. Your body requires time to adjust. The revival process is proceeding within acceptable parameters. Marcus's thoughts were fractured, memories swirling like leaves in a storm. Earth. Fire. The coalition ships darkening the sky. The evacuation. Admiral Reed's final orders. How? Marcus finally managed to think the word clearly enough for Guardian to receive. 500,000 years, 217 days, 14 hours have passed since stasis initiation. Guardian replied. Revival was triggered as programmed when Coalition surveillance of this sector fell below detection thresholds. The pod opened with a soft hiss. Cold air rushed over Marcus's wet skin, causing him to shiver violently. Mechanical arms descended from the ceiling, lifting him gently and placing him on a medical table. Diagnostic systems scanned his body, injecting stabilizing compounds where needed. Status of Operation Dead End? Marcus asked, his voice a raspy whisper. All systems operational. The facility remained undetected. Fleet construction continued as programmed during hibernation. Current inventory: 1,724 destroyer-class vessels, 439 cruisers, 83 dreadnoughts, and 1 carrier-class command ship. Marcus struggled to sit up, his muscles weak but responding better with each passing minute. The room around him was sterile, minimal, designed for function, not comfort. Through the doorway, he could see the vast main chamber beyond, where rows of monitoring stations waited. Show me, he commanded. Guardian projected a holographic display above Marcus's bed. The image showed a massive underground hangar, stretching for kilometers in every direction. Countless ships hung in magnetic cradles, their hulls gleaming even in the dim light. Each bore the insignia of Earth Defense Force, a symbol no living being in the galaxy had seen for 500,000 years. The Coalition? Marcus asked. Still the dominant power in the galaxy, though they have fractured into 17 major factions since humanity's extinction. Their technology has plateaued in many areas. Their vigilance has decreased over time. Guardian displayed images captured by stealth probes, showing Coalition worlds, sprawling cities inhabited by the various species that had once united to destroy humanity. They lived their lives, built their civilizations on the ashes of Earth, believing themselves safe from retribution. Marcus stood, taking his first shaky steps. His body felt alien to him, though the nanites in his bloodstream were rapidly repairing cellular damage from the long stasis. He walked to the window overlooking the main control center. Wake the others. Priority 1 personnel first. Initiating revival sequence for command staff. Guardian confirmed. In a row of stasis chambers beyond Marcus's room, lights began to activate. 6 pods hummed to life, beginning the same process that had awakened him. Marcus moved to a console and pulled up Admiral Reed's final orders. Operation Dead Hand was more than just survival. It was humanity's insurance policy, their final defiance against extinction. The Coalition had believed they had wiped out humanity completely, ensuring their own safety from the dangerous, unpredictable species. They were wrong. Tactical assessment? Marcus asked. The Coalition remains unaware of our existence. Their patrol patterns avoid this sector due to radiation interference we generate. We can be fully operational before they detect our presence. Marcus nodded slowly, his eyes fixed on the vast fleet waiting in the darkness. 500,000 years. Everyone he had ever known was dust. Earth itself had been reduced to a barren rock, stripped of resources by the victorious Coalition. But here, in this hidden facility, humanity's final plan had waited patiently. Begin full system activation, Marcus ordered. Prepare the fleet for deployment. The Coalition has enjoyed peace for too long. As the facility hummed to full power, lights activated throughout the massive complex, illuminating thousands of ships that had never seen battle, weapons that had advanced for 500,000 years through automated improvement cycles, technology that had evolved beyond anything the Coalition could imagine. They called us dangerous, Marcus whispered, watching as the first of his command staff began to emerge from their stasis pods. They were right. Outside the facility, the barren surface of the moon remained unchanged, giving no hint of the vengeance being prepared within. After 500,000 years, humanity was about to return to a galaxy that thought them extinct. And this time, they weren't coming to make peace. Marcus stood at the center of the massive underground shipyard, his eyes taking in the endless rows of warships stretching into the darkness. The ceiling rose hundreds of meters above, carved from the moon's bedrock and reinforced with materials designed to last for millions of years. Silent and waiting, the fleet hung in perfect formation, suspended by invisible magnetic fields. Impressive, isn't it? A voice said behind him. Marcus turned to see Anna, the technical specialist who had awakened just hours after him. Her pale features still showed signs of stasis sickness, but her eyes were sharp and alert. Guardian has kept them in perfect condition, Marcus replied. Not a speck of dust. Anna stepped forward to join him at the railing. Guardian did more than maintain them. Look closer. Marcus focused on the nearest destroyer, a sleek, predatory shape of dark metal. As he studied it, he noticed subtle differences from the designs he remembered. The hull plating pattern was more complex, the weapon mounts slightly reconfigured. The automated factories never stopped working, Anna explained. Guardian continued the research and development cycles. These ships are 500,000 years more advanced than the ones we helped design. A chill ran down Marcus's spine. How much more powerful are they? We're still running diagnostics, but preliminary estimates suggest at least 1,000-fold improvement in weapons yield, shield strength, and propulsion efficiency. Marcus nodded slowly, taking in this information. And the Coalition? Have they advanced as much? That's where things get interesting, said a new voice. Jack, the tactical officer, approached from the far doorway. His tall frame moved with the careful precision of someone still adjusting to gravity after stasis. In his hand, he carried a holographic projector. Historian has been briefing me, Jack continued, placing the projector on a nearby console. You're going to want to see this. The device activated, displaying a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Colored regions indicated Coalition territory, spanning nearly 60% of the charted stars. Historian, join us please, Jack called out. A new hologram formed beside them, taking the shape of an elderly man with a long beard, the chosen avatar of the facility's second primary AI. Commander Marcus, Historian said with a slight bow. I have analyzed 500,000 years of Coalition broadcasts, probe data, and communications intercepts. Would you like the summary? Please, Marcus replied. The galactic map zoomed in on a particular sector. After humanity's extinction, the Coalition maintained unity for approximately 1,200 years. Their alliance, formed specifically to eliminate the human threat, began to fracture without a common enemy. By year 2000 after Earth's fall, they had split into three major power blocks. The map shifted, showing the changing boundaries as Historian continued. By year 10,000, those blocks had further subdivided. Currently, there are 17 major factions and dozens of minor independent groups. Have they fought each other? Marcus asked. Yes, though rarely to total war. Their conflicts tend to be limited in scope and objective. Historian gestured, and the display showed various battle sites. More significantly, their technological advancement has stagnated. This caught Anna's attention. Stagnated. How? After eliminating humanity, the Coalition implemented strict controls on technological research. Our species was deemed dangerous primarily because of our rapid innovation rate. The Coalition feared that pattern and restricted similar development among their own kind. Marcus exchanged glances with Anna and Jack. The irony was not lost on any of them. Show us Earth, Marcus said quietly. The hologram shifted again, zooming to a familiar solar system. The third planet appeared, but Marcus hardly recognized it. The blue world of his memory was gone, replaced by a gray-brown sphere, its oceans reduced to shallow basins, its land masses scared beyond recognition. They stripped it, Jack said, his voice tight. Mining operations continued for centuries after the war. And afterward? Marcus asked. Historian's expression remained neutral, but his voice softened. Earth was declared a forbidden zone approximately 75,000 years ago. Coalition records describe it as cursed, a place where survey ships experience equipment failures and crews report disturbances. Disturbances? Anna asked. Psychological phenomena. Nightmares, visions of humans watching them. Several Coalition species developed religious taboos about visiting the Sol system. Marcus almost smiled at that. Even in death, humanity have found a way to haunt their destroyers. What do they remember about us? He asked. Historian projected new images, monuments on various Coalition worlds. Massive structures celebrating Victory Day, the anniversary of Earth's fall. Museum exhibits showing distorted representations of human beings, portrayed as violent, irrational creatures. They remember humanity as dangerous barbarians who needed to be eliminated for galactic safety, Historian explained. However, the narrative has shifted over time. The modern Coalition views the war against humanity as a regrettable necessity rather than a glorious conquest. Regrets won't save them, Jack said coldly. Marcus turned to him. We need to see for ourselves. Prepare the Spectre for launch. Historian's hologram flickered. Commander, if I may, the Spectre is our most advanced reconnaissance vessel. It incorporates stealth technology that even modern coalition sensors cannot detect. However, using it will commit us to a course of action. We're already committed, Marcus replied. We've been committed for 500,000 years. Hours later, Marcus stood on the bridge of the Spectre as the smaller ship was moved into the facility's launch tunnel. Anna worked at the engineering station, while Jack finalized their navigation route. All systems operational, Anna reported. The ship has recognized our command codes and biometrics. Marcus settled into the captain's chair, feeling the neural interface connect with his implants. The ship's consciousness, not a full AI, but an advanced operational system, brushed against his mind. Historian, Marcus called. What's our first target? The tactical display lit up, highlighting a star system near the edge of Coalition space. This outpost serves as a monitoring station. It's minimally staffed and positioned to observe several neighboring systems. From there, we can access the Coalition's communication network without detection. Marcus nodded. Guardian, we're ready. The facility AI's voice came through the bridge speakers. Launch tunnel pressurizing. Outer doors will open in 30 seconds. The ship hummed beneath them, power flowing through systems that had waited millennia to activate. On the view screen, the massive doors ahead began to part, revealing a glimpse of stars beyond. 500,000 years, Jack said quietly. Do you think they ever imagined we'd return? No, Marcus replied, his eyes fixed on those distant stars. That was their mistake. The countdown reached 0. The Spectre slipped forward, accelerating smoothly into the darkness of space. For the first time since humanity's fall, a ship bearing Earth's insignia broke the void between stars. Somewhere in the vast galaxy ahead, the descendants of those who had destroyed Earth continued their lives, unaware that ghosts from the ancient past were coming. Ghosts with very real weapons and a memory that spanned 500,000 years. The hunt had begun. The Spectre drifted silently above Monument World, its advanced cloaking systems rendering it invisible to even the most sophisticated Coalition scanners. From the observation deck, Marcus watched the sprawling city below, its spires reaching toward the stars like fingers grasping for glory. Monument World, the Coalition's greatest achievement, a planet transformed into a living memorial of their victory over humanity. At its center stood the Pillar of Triumph, a structure nearly 3 kilometers tall, engraved with the names of every Coalition ship and commander who participated in Earth's destruction. They're preparing for the celebration, Jack said, joining Marcus at the viewport. Tomorrow marks the 500,000th victory day. Marcus's expression remained cold. 500,000 years of dancing on our grave. Below them, the Coalition capital was alive with activity. Ships from all 17 factions arrived hourly, bringing dignitaries and military leaders for the grand celebration. Security vessels patrolled in predictable patterns, their crews relaxed, complacent. No one had threatened the Coalition in centuries. Anna's voice came through the ship's communication system. Marcus, you need to see this. In the ship's main briefing room, Anna had compiled footage from their 3-week reconnaissance mission. The display showed various Coalition worlds they had observed, once mighty civilizations now showing subtle signs of decay. Look at their technology, Anna explained, pointing to images of Coalition vessels. Their designs haven't fundamentally changed in over 100,000 years. They've refined and polished, but they've stopped innovating. Fear, Historian's hologram commented from the corner of the room. After humanity's defeat, the Coalition enacted strict controls on technological development. They feared another species might advance as rapidly as humans had. Marcus studied the images. Have they maintained their military strength? Their fleets are numerically impressive, Jack answered, but their tactics are ceremonial, not practical. They haven't fought a major war in over 200,000 years. Their training exercises are more like parades than battle preparations. Marcus nodded slowly. And what about Monument World's defenses? Jack brought up a tactical display. 2 orbital defense rings, 8 dreadnought-class vessels, and approximately 200 smaller ships. Formidable by coalition standards, but not against what we've brought. Marcus finished. Anna looked up sharply. We're not planning to attack Monument World directly, are we? The Spectre is a reconnaissance vessel. It has weapons, but nothing that could challenge their defense fleet. Marcus turned to the central display, where a countdown timer showed 18 hours until the Victory Day celebration. Guardian, status of the fleet. The Commander-I's voice filled the room. The first battle group is ready for deployment. 20 destroyer-class vessels and 5 cruisers have been prepared according to your specifications. Anna and Jack exchanged glances. Marcus had not shared this part of his plan with them. You've been busy while we were away, Jack said carefully. Marcus nodded. The reconnaissance data you've gathered confirmed what we needed to know. The Coalition is vulnerable. They've grown soft, complacent. They believe themselves safe from a threat that died 500,000 years ago. He touched a control, and the display shifted to show the hidden moon base. Dozens of ships were moving into launch position, their systems fully activated. You're planning a direct assault, Anna realized. During their celebration. Not an assault, Marcus corrected. A message. The next 12 hours passed in tense preparation. Marcus transmitted their reconnaissance data back to Guardian, who adjusted the attack plan accordingly. The Spectre moved into position near one of Monument World's moons, its systems powered down to minimum levels to avoid detection. As the Victory Day celebration began, Marcus, Anna, and Jack watched through the Spectre's long-range sensors. The planet below blazed with light. In the main square of the capital city, holographic displays showed the fall of Earth, dramatized and distorted into a narrative of Coalition heroism against savage human aggression. The Coalition's Supreme Council, representatives from all 17 factions, gathered on a massive platform beneath the Pillar of Triumph. Billions of citizens across the galaxy watched via direct transmission as the council leaders prepared to give their speeches. Begin transmission to the fleet, Marcus ordered. Anna worked her console. Channel secure. Guardian acknowledges. Marcus took a deep breath. 500,000 years had led to this moment. Execute Operation Dead Hand. Phase 1. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The celebration continued below, with the Supreme Council leader approaching the podium to begin his speech. Then space itself seemed to tear open as the fabric of reality distorted. 25 points of brilliant light flashed into existence around Monument World as the Earth fleet arrived through jump points far more advanced than anything the Coalition possessed. Alarms blared across the Coalition defense network. Confused communications flooded the channels as military commanders tried to understand what was happening. The defense fleet scrambled to respond, but their movements were uncoordinated, panicked. They've forgotten what real danger feels like, Jack observed coldly. On the planet below, the celebration dissolved into chaos. The Supreme Council's security forces rushed to evacuate the leaders as civilians ran in terror, the memories of ancient legends about humanity's vengeance suddenly seeming very real. Coalition Defense Fleet is attempting to form a blockade, Anna reported. Their response time is slow. Marcus nodded. Proceed as planned. Target the Pillar of Triumph only. Precision strike. The Earth Destroyer Vengeance, leading the attack formation, moved into position. Its advanced targeting systems locked onto the monument that had stood for 500,000 years celebrating humanity's extinction. A single pulse of energy, brilliant white, and more powerful than anything the Coalition had ever witnessed, lanced down through the atmosphere. The Pillar of Triumph, 3 kilometers of supposedly indestructible material, vanished in a blinding flash. When the light faded, nothing remained but a perfectly circular crater. No other targets were struck. No Coalition ships were engaged. The Earth fleet maintained formation, their weapons charged but holding fire. Open a broadcast channel, Marcus ordered. All frequencies, all languages. Anna's fingers danced across her console. Channel open. Marcus stood straight, his voice steady, as he delivered the message that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. Attention Coalition species. 500,000 years ago, you united to destroy humanity. You believed us extinct, our threat eliminated forever. You were wrong. We have watched from the shadows as you celebrated our destruction. We have waited as you built your civilization on the bones of our world. He paused, letting the silence stretch for a moment. Today marks the end of your false peace. Humanity remembers. We have returned. The message ended. For several seconds, absolute silence filled the Coalition communication channels. Then panic erupted as the reality sank in. The nightmare species, the monsters from their ancient history, had somehow returned. Fleet status, Marcus asked. All ships report optimal functioning, Anna replied. Coalition defense forces are maintaining distance. They appear paralyzed. Marcus nodded. Mission complete. Prepare for jump. One by one, the Earth ships disappeared back through their jump points, leaving no trace of their presence except the smoking crater where the Coalition's greatest monument had stood. The Spectre remained, cloaked and undetected, observing the aftermath. On Monument World, mass panic spread as the news traveled. 500,000 years of certainty, the belief that humanity was gone forever, had been shattered in a single moment. Now they know we're coming, Marcus said quietly, and they'll remember what fear feels like. The Spectre turned away from Monument World, preparing to rejoin the fleet at their hidden base. Behind them, they left a galaxy in turmoil, with a single message echoing through every Coalition communication channel. Humanity remembers. The Coalition Emergency Council chamber buzzed with panic. Representatives from all 17 factions crowded the circular room, their voices rising in a chaotic blend of accusations and fear. Holograms displayed the devastation on Monument World, not widespread destruction, but the precise, surgical removal of the Pillar of Triumph, leaving a perfect crater where the monument had stood for 500,000 years. Impossible, shouted Verex, the military commander of the Centauri faction, his scaled skin flushed dark red with agitation. Humans are extinct. We confirm the extinction ourselves. The supreme leader, an ancient being named Helic, raised his 4 arms for silence. Clearly, he said, his voice gravelly with age, our ancestors were mistaken. Or deceived, added Iris, representative of the Proxima faction. Her luminescent eyes narrowed. The records show that the last human stronghold was destroyed. Every planet, every colony, every outpost was confirmed empty. Telek nodded slowly. Yet here we are, with human warships appearing in our most secure system, using technology far beyond our own. The military briefing began. Coalition forces were mobilizing across the galaxy, ancient defense protocols being dusted off and implemented for the first time in thousands of generations. But confusion reigned. The attack pattern made no strategic sense. A single strike against a symbolic target, then withdrawal without engaging Coalition forces. They could have destroyed our entire defense fleet, Verex admitted reluctantly. Our analysis shows their weapons technology is significantly advanced. 500,000 years, Telek mused. While we stagnated, fearing another rapid technological evolution like humanity's, they were somewhere, waiting, advancing. Fear hung in the air like a physical presence. The species that populated the Coalition had built their entire civilization on the certainty that humanity was gone, a danger safely eliminated from the galaxy. Now that certainty was shattered. Back at the hidden moon base, Marcus stood in the command center, watching as Guardian coordinated the deployment of more ships. The first strike had been a complete success. The Earth fleet had appeared, delivered its message, and disappeared before the Coalition could mount an effective response. The Coalition is scrambling, Jack reported, studying the intercepted communications. Their defense forces are being deployed to protect key worlds, but their coordination is poor. 500,000 years of peace has left them unprepared for crisis. How long until the next phase is ready? Marcus asked. Guardian's hologram appeared beside him. The second battle group will be fully operational in 17 hours. Current fleet strength is at 43% of total capacity. Marcus nodded. And the special project? Proceeding as scheduled, Guardian replied. The data recovered from the reconnaissance mission has been incorporated into the search parameters. Anna entered the command center, her face showing concern. Marcus, we need to talk. She led him to a private briefing room where a series of data projections waited. I've been analyzing historians' records of coalition development after humanity's fall. I found something unexpected. The display showed colony worlds, outposts, and settlements across coalition space. These locations show anomalous development patterns, technology that doesn't match coalition standards, cultural markers that seem out of place. Marcus studied the display. What are you suggesting? I think some humans might have survived. Not here, not in our facility, but out there, hiding among coalition species, maintaining secret enclaves, perhaps even passing as non-humans through genetic modification. The possibility hit Marcus like a physical blow. They had awakened believing themselves the last remnant of humanity, a ghost fleet created solely for vengeance. But if others had survived, have you confirmed this? He asked, his voice tight. Anna shook her head. It's theoretical, based on pattern analysis. But the statistical anomalies are significant enough that historian agrees with my assessment. Marcus paced the room, his mind racing. If there are human survivors or descendants living in coalition space, our attacks could endanger them. Exactly, Anna said. Our mission parameters may need adjustment. Marcus stared at the display, at the dozens of locations marked as potential human enclaves. Guardian, he called out, modify the target list for Phase 2. Remove these systems from attack priorities. Acknowledged, the AI responded. New targets are being identified. Jack's voice came through the communication system. Marcus, you need to see this. Coalition forces are moving toward Sector 117. In the main command center, the tactical display showed a significant coalition battle group, nearly 30 ships, heading for a seemingly empty region of space. Sector 117 contains nothing of strategic value, Guardian observed. No major worlds, no military installations. No, Marcus agreed, but it does contain this. He highlighted a small object on the display, a derelict space station, abandoned millennia ago according to their reconnaissance data. Historian's hologram appeared. That facility was once Outpost Horizon, a human research station. It was believed destroyed during the final war. Believed destroyed, Marcus repeated, just like humanity was believed extinct. Jack studied the tactical data. The coalition is moving with purpose. They know something about that station. Or they suspect, Marcus corrected. They're checking old human outposts, looking for where we might have hidden all this time. Marcus made his decision quickly. Prepare the Spectre for immediate launch. Jack, Anna, you're with me. We need to reach Horizon before they do. The Spectre dropped out of jump space near the derelict station, maintaining its cloaking field. The station hung in space, dark and seemingly lifeless, a relic of humanity's last days. Its outer hull showed battle damage from ancient weapons fire, but the structure remained largely intact. No power signatures, Anna reported from her station. If there's anything operating in there, it's on minimal systems. Coalition forces will arrive in approximately 40 minutes, Jack added. Marcus studied the station. Prepare for boarding. I want to know what's in there before they arrive. The Spectre docked with the ancient airlock, its advanced systems easily bypassing the station's ruined security protocols. Marcus led the small team inside, their environmental suits protecting them from the vacuum. Emergency lights from their equipment cast eerie shadows through the abandoned corridors. Central Command should be 2 levels up, Anna said, consulting the old schematics historian had provided. They moved carefully through the station, passing signs of the final battle, scorch marks from weapons fire, holes punched through internal walls. But strangely, no bodies. There should be remains, Jack observed. Even after 500,000 years, there should be some evidence of the crew. Unless they weren't here when the station fell, Marcus replied. The central command room was sealed behind heavy blast doors. Anna worked on the manual override while Marcus and Jack secured the perimeter. Finally, with a groan of protesting metal, the doors slid open. Inside, unlike the rest of the station, emergency power still functioned, casting a dim red glow over the room. And there, suspended in a stasis field at the center, was a single cryopod. Life signs detected. Anna whispered, checking her scanner. Faint, but present. Marcus approached the pod slowly, wiping away the frost from the viewing port with his gloved hand. Inside, the face of a woman was visible, her features serene in suspended animation. "She's human," Marcus said, his voice filled with wonder. After all this time, data terminal beside the pod still functioned. Anna accessed it, her eyes widening as she read. "This is Dr. Eleanor West, lead scientist on Project Ark. According to these logs, she placed herself in stasis after sending the rest of the crew to coordinates that have been encrypted." "Project Ark?" Jack asked. Marcus felt a strange sensation, part hope, part dread. A colony ship project. In the final days, some believed we should run, hide, preserve what was left of humanity rather than fight. Coalition ships entering the system. Guardian's voice came through their communications. Estimate 11 minutes until they reach the station. Marcus stared at the woman in the pod. At this link to humanity's past. "Prepare for emergency extraction. We're taking the pod with us." As they worked to disconnect the stasis field from the station's systems, a final log entry played automatically on the terminal. "This is Dr. Eleanor West. Final entry. The Coalition believes they have won, that humanity is finished. Let them believe it. While they celebrate our extinction, we will endure. One day, when they have forgotten to fear us, we will return. Not for vengeance, but to reclaim our place among the stars." The date on the log was one day after Earth had fallen. One day after humanity had supposedly been exterminated. Marcus looked at the sleeping face of Dr. West, then at his companions. "Our mission just changed. We're not just the last fleet of a dead species. We're the guardians of humanity's future." As the Coalition ships drew closer, the Spectre detached from the station, the precious cryopod secured in its medical bay. They slipped away, cloaking field active, leaving the Coalition forces to find nothing but an empty shell. The war for humanity's future had entered. The Earth fleet emerged from jump points around the Coalition capital system, not just a strike force this time, but the full might of Operation Deadhand. 500 warships materialized simultaneously, their dark hulls gleaming in the light of the system's star. At their center flew the command carrier Redemption, the largest vessel humanity had ever created. On the Redemption's bridge, Marcus stood before the main viewport, watching as the Coalition defense fleet scrambled to respond. Their movements were panicked, disorganized. 2 weeks of hit-and-run attacks across Coalition space had left them exhausted and confused. "Coalition communication channels are in chaos," Jack reported from the tactical station. "They're trying to coordinate a defense, but their command structure is breaking down." Anna worked at her station, monitoring the vital signs of Dr. Eleanor West. The scientist remained in stasis, her cryopod now connected to the Redemption's advanced medical systems. "Her revival process has begun," Anna announced. "Estimated time to consciousness, 3 hours." Marcus nodded, his eyes fixed on the view ahead. The Coalition capital planet, once called Monument World, now a fortress of desperate last stands, hung in space before them. In the 2 weeks since their first strike, the Coalition had transformed the planet's surface into a massive military installation. "They expect us to destroy them," Marcus said quietly. just as they destroyed Earth. Guardian's hologram appeared beside him. All ships report ready, Commander. Weapon systems are charged and targeting solutions confirmed. Marcus took a deep breath. This moment, the complete vulnerability of those who had wiped out humanity, was what Operation Dead End had been designed for. Vengeance, served cold after 500,000 years. "Sir," one of the bridge officers called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the Coalition Supreme Council. They're requesting to surrender." A murmur ran through the bridge crew. Jack looked up from his station. "A trap." "Unlikely," Guardian replied. "Their defensive capabilities are insufficient to pose a significant threat. Our analysis suggests this is a genuine capitulation." Marcus considered for a moment. "Open a channel." The main screen flickered, showing the aged face of Supreme Leader Telek. Behind him stood representatives from all 17 coalition factions, their expressions solemn. "Commander of the human fleet," Telek began, his voice steady despite the circumstances, "we offer our unconditional surrender. The coalition forces will stand down immediately." Marcus studied the alien leader's face. "Why should we accept your surrender? Your ancestors showed no mercy to Earth." Telek nodded slowly. "That is true. We cannot change what was done 500,000 years ago. But we are not them, just as you are not the humans they feared." "Explain," Marcus demanded. "We have reviewed our most ancient records since your return," Telek continued. "Records that had been sealed, hidden from our own people. The truth of what happened has been distorted over time." At Marcus's gesture, Historian appeared on the bridge, his holographic form visible to the coalition leaders. "What truth do you speak of?" the AI asked. Telek seemed taken aback by the AI's appearance, but recovered quickly. "The truth that humanity was not the aggressor our histories claim. The truth that Earth was destroyed not because humans were a threat, but because they refused to bow to coalition authority." Marcus felt a cold anger rising within him. "And you're only admitting this now when our weapons are aimed at your worlds." "Fear makes cowards of us all," Telek replied simply. "For 500,000 years, we have lived with the guilt of what our ancestors did. We built monuments to convince ourselves of our righteousness. We told ourselves the extinction of humanity was necessary. But the truth remained in our sealed archives, waiting to be faced." A new alert sounded on the tactical display. Jack studied it with surprise. Multiple signals activating across coalition space. "They're responding to our fleet's presence." Anna's eyes widened as she analyzed the data. The signals matched the anomalous patterns I identified earlier, possibly human enclaves awakening from dormancy. The revelation struck Marcus like a physical blow. Dr. West's project hadn't been a single colony ship. It had been many, scattered across the galaxy, hiding in plain sight among their enemies. "The humans who survived," Marcus said, understanding dawning. "They've been waiting, just as we have." Telek nodded. "We became aware of their existence only recently. Small enclaves, hidden communities, sometimes disguised as coalition species through genetic modification. When your attacks began, they started to emerge from hiding." The tactical display updated, showing hundreds of new signals across coalition space, beacons activating, hidden bases revealing themselves after 500,000 years of secrecy. "Your final attack was never needed, Commander," Telek continued. "Humanity has already won, through patience and survival rather than destruction." Marcus turned to Anna. "How soon until Dr. West awakens?" 2 hours, 40 minutes, she replied. Marcus made his decision. Inform the fleet, hold position, maintain targeting solutions but do not fire. He turned back to Telek. "Your surrender is accepted, conditionally. All coalition forces will stand down immediately. Your leadership will prepare to meet with representatives of humanity, both from our fleet and from the survivor enclaves." Telek bowed his head in acknowledgement. "It will be done." As the transmission ended, Jack approached Marcus. "What now? We've waited 500,000 years for this moment." Marcus looked at the planet below, then at the tactical display showing the awakening human signals across the galaxy. Now we do what Dr. West intended. Not extinction, but reckoning. 3 days later, Marcus stood in a room that had once been the Coalition Supreme Council chamber. Now it served as the meeting place for a new beginning. Representatives from the human enclaves had arrived, people whose ancestors had hidden among the stars while Operation Dead Hand slept, preserving human culture, knowledge, and life itself. Dr. Eleanor West, fully awakened from her 500,000-year sleep, addressed the gathered assembly. Though physically frail from her long stasis, her voice carried the strength of humanity's enduring spirit. 500,000 years ago, I made a choice, she said, not to pursue vengeance, but to ensure survival. Project Ark scattered our people across the galaxy, hiding us among those who thought us extinct. We endured. We waited. We remembered. She turned to Marcus. And you, Commander, you waited as well. Operation Dead Hand was our insurance, the sword hanging over the Coalition should our hidden colonies fail. Marcus nodded. We believed ourselves the last of humanity. We awoke seeking vengeance for a species we thought completely destroyed. And yet, Dr. West continued, when the moment came to strike, you chose restraint. You chose to listen. In doing so, you honored the best of what humanity was, not just our capacity for retribution, but our capacity for wisdom. The Coalition leaders sat silently, witnessing this reunion of a species they had believed extinct. Telek finally spoke. What happens now? What does humanity require of us? Marcus and Dr. West exchanged glances. She nodded for him to answer. Justice, Marcus said firmly. Acknowledgement of the truth. The end of the lies that have defined your civilization for 500,000 years. He activated a holographic display showing Earth, barren, stripped, lifeless. And this, Earth will be restored. Your best scientists will work with ours to heal the world that gave birth to humanity. No one objected. No one could. As the meeting continued, Marcus stepped outside onto a balcony overlooking the capital city. The Coalition citizens below went about their lives, most still unaware of how close they had come to extinction, how history had nearly repeated itself. Anna joined him, looking out at the alien skyline. 500,000 years of waiting, planning for vengeance, she said quietly. And in the end, we chose something else. Marcus nodded. Dead Hand was never just about revenge. It was about ensuring humanity had a future. He looked up at the sky, where the Earth fleet still held position, a reminder and a promise, not just of humanity's power, but of its choice. The best revenge, Marcus said, isn't destruction, it's survival. Across the galaxy, hidden human communities emerged from 500 millennia of shadows. The species that had been declared extinct returned to claim its place among the stars, not through the fire and death that had been visited upon Earth, but through the quiet strength that had always defined humanity at its best, the determination to endure, to adapt, to overcome. And on a small ship heading toward the Sol system, scientists from both humanity and the Coalition began the long journey to restore the birthplace of the species that had, against all odds, refused to die. 500,000 years after the last human supposedly died, Earth would live again.